Hey everybody, how's it going? Thank you for joining me for another Hobby Wednesday, right? Gonna do a little live stream here. Gonna do a little hobby. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the last series where I built the Primaris Outrider squad with some LED lights in it. Of course, you can see the finished squad here since the end of last week's show. I went ahead and have started painting over the weekend. So here, let me go and flip real quick. We'll do the desk zoom cam and take a quick look at those bad boys. Oh yeah. So just a quick paint job with some contrast paints on there, nothing special. That's the simple paint job I've been doing with my Johnny Marines. But you can see we got the flashing guns and gun effect there, as well as those plasma engines and that glowing display. There's the other ones there. Boom, boom, boom. Looking good. So yeah, we finished that squad up. That nice successful build. Of course, put a little more paint to put on these guys. I have to do the metallics still. That's all that's about left. But I haven't done the metallics on most of my Johnny Marine. Only the characters so far. So I'm kind of on the fence. But these guys will probably get a little bit of more dress up. So let's go ahead and turn them off. Okay. So, first things first, we will get the timer going. Boom. There we are, an hour of hobby. Let's get these things out of the way. And what are we going to work on this week? Well, there we go. So, since I built some Marines last time, I figured that I would continue working on some models from the Indominus box set. And I'm going to go ahead and just build a Necron. In fact, I've already built the model, so much like with the Primaris. Now, I haven't lit this guy yet, but I did build the model, so I'm familiar with the kit. And this is, of course, the Skorpekh Lord from the Indominus kit. And I have the Silent King model coming in. Ordered that from Frontline Gaming, so look forward to getting that in a few days. And with that kit, I'm going to light the heck out of it. So I've actually ordered a bunch of LEDs from Evans Design. I got some neat stuff like this here remote control dimmer and some other effects that I'm going to give a try on for the Silent King. So the Skorpekh Lord here, though it's going to be a Necron, and I've got a couple cool ideas about what we're going to do with this guy, it's going to be a pretty quick build, because I want to get right to doing that Silent King, which is going to be a little more involved build on the backside. So I'm going to try and wrap this guy up in maybe 3 or 4 episodes. We'll see how that goes. So today, of course, we're going to do start clipping the sprues and cleaning things up, and then talking about our plans for how we're going to light this guy. And then I'm going to go through some of the materials that I bought, as well as the LEDs themselves that I plan on using. So, without further ado, let's dive right into this. And I think beginning a new project, I think we're going to go with a little bit of the old Bale Vinny double wood 12-year scotch. Yeah. There we go. Pour that in my Las Vegas open whiskey glass. I'm looking forward to being able to go back to the LVO maybe this year, maybe next. We'll see when we're back up and going. So LVO, just to you guys. Now, if you guys paid attention, or I guess you won't hear about it till our podcast is out this Friday, but this weekend I should be releasing a special episode of Hot Ones with Mr. Reese Robbins. So I've just shipped off 14 kinds of peppers to Reese. Verified that those have arrived at his house. So we're supposed to record and do a little fun pepper challenge. We'll see how Reese does that. Now, Reese did actually eat some of the Carolina Reapers, Don't Fear the Reaper, from last year. He had no problems with them. So he's definitely can hang with the hot stuff. So it should be a lot of fun. Anyways, without further ado, delicious. Let's get right into this build. Okay, so let me switch to the old desk cam. There we are. And since I'm not doing the Raven Wing or Marines this time. I didn't want to leave the Ravenwing coin, so I got this creepy $50 with some kind of skeleton guy on it. So that will be our right heads, tails. That will be our focus aid for the minute. And of course, there is that Skorpekh Lord. And one of the reasons I chose him is I do want to do a couple different effects, and I'm going to need some space on the base, as it were. So let me just grab some of this stuff here. Here we are. Got my little supply of LEDs and lights and all that stuff there. So I'm still going to work with these Evans Design switches. They were pretty easy to work with the bikes. And you can see I'm easily going to fit, 2 of those, maybe 3. I don't know if 3 would really fit. Let's see first. Okay, so there's 1, 2, 3 of those. And I guess if I kind of push that maybe a little at an angle. There we go. So go at an angle like that. Oh, come on. And then like that. There's actually room to do this. Maybe go this way with this one. Yeah, so if I rotate each of them, and then the wires can just go right through the adjacent hole. So I guess, oh, there we go. So yeah, just like that. Oh my gosh. If I go through the adjacent hole, I could get 3 batteries, 3 effects, and that's going to make them sit pretty stable too. So that might end up being what we do there. This is going to be very different from the project when I did the bike. And when I did the bikes, I actually had built one of the bikes with lights before I started doing the live stream. And so because of that, I already know how the model and how the project was going to turn out. Here, you're going to watch me do it as we go. So there's only one guy, one build, one time. So as challenges happen and what have you, we will adapt and deal with those. So first things first, of course, as always, what am I going to do? I got to clip the sprue, and we've got our rough clippers. I've got my finer clippers, finer tip clippers, and of course I have my handy dandy GW clippers. So that's going to get us through this first part. And let's go ahead and clip off the pieces of the Skorpekh Lord. So luckily GW's got these nice directions. Just move the light back a little bit. Does that help with the glare? Yeah, I guess back is our best bet. Okay, so that's not too bad. So we can look here. Skorpekh Lord. Skorpekh. 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 I think that's how we'll go with Skorpekh. Senor Skorpekh. Senor Skorpekh. Skorpekh Lord. Tirano Skorpekh. Skorpekh Lord. Skorpekh Lord. Now I can read all them languages. Just like that. Okay, so we do see what bits we need here. So since we're only building one model, I think we just go ahead and do all the clipping. And it looks like by numbering, he starts, here's H20, and here's H30. So it's 20, 21, 22, nope, there's a 19. So 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Okay, so 19 through 30 are the bits for the Skorpekh Lord. So that's pretty straightforward. We'll start right here. It's 20, 26. Just get a nice tight clip. Use the GW clippers when I can. They got that really flat back, and then I filed it a little bit back there too to further flatten it. Get a nice, clean clip from them. Now, for those of you that are not into cleaning up your models after you clip them off, then I suggest you learn to do like really good clipping. If you're really good at clipping, then it just reduces the work, or if you're going to skip it, it doesn't look quite as bad. So there's that. And I know a lot of people don't go through the models, clean up the models. They'll paint, they'll put great paint job. And oh, I hate cleaning up the model. And I understand. I get it. I know a lot of the models I bought off eBay have come that way. It's one of the reasons I don't bother too much with that. eBay models, that is, built ones. It's too much of a hassle. Too much of a crapshoot, even with pictures. Okay, but this guy's coming off pretty nicely. This is piece number 19. The lowest number in the series. Body. Orbit, that makes sense. There's a complete logic. I wonder if there's actually like a rubric, internal rubric at GW that dictates how they number sprues and that kind of stuff. Or is it just kind of random, whatever the designer decided to do? Okay, not too bad. And we got 29, and that's a 37, so that's not part of it. Yeah, that's part of the thrall, or not the thrall, but big techie guy. This guy, he's got that fist on the base. That's the other model that's basically on this sprue with the Skorpekh Lord. Skorpekh. Oh, I guess, Knoptek, Skorpekh. Guess that's the Egyptian-y sounding stuff there. Okay, that's a 3, so that's the other character. 26 over here. Nice. Flip that off. And get this guy in there too. Oh, there we are. Come on. Nice. Okay, so is that everything? That doesn't seem like enough pieces yet. Let's see what else we got here. Gonna be some leg bits. There's a 25, so that's his weapon. You'll see that it has those nice like shafts and tips. I'm really thinking that's just going to be perfect to drill and remove those and basically replace them with a fiber optic. And we'll see which light we end up putting to that one, because I said if we can actually have 3 different power sources, that means that I can have one of the power sources driving, say, flickering, one driving flashing, and one driving solid. And then each light can handle multiple LEDs. It's really not a matter of quote how many LEDs. I mean, it is at some point there's too many, but for the most part, it's about battery life. The more LEDs you put on there, the shorter your battery. So let's be on pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there's a few more bits to find here. Oh, here's a 24 on that sprue. Knock that through. And let's see. 24 is 38, 17. Nothing else on this side. 18 for that head. Come this way. Here's 30. So this is the head of the dude we're working on. That I like how a lot of these Necrons, Egyptians, of course, have the long wrapped beard, literally the raw beard. If somebody wears it nowadays, that's what they would call it. And of course, all the Egyptians have the quote, or the Necrons have those raw beards going on as well. So here's 20 and 21, the couple more legs. That boom. Go. This other leg out. Again, if we were building a squad nowadays, I sometimes don't want to clip all the sprues at once, or if I do, I try to kind of do them in piles so I keep all the bits that belong to one guy together. But here it's just one character, so it's not like we're going to get things mixed up. Okay, so is that it? So I don't see any more 33, 20, 21. No, we got those. 2. Those are the bodies of some of the other guys. There's a 12, 32, 11, 14. Okay, so I think that is it. And let's see. we have 19 through 30. So we should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 pieces. So there's the whole guy right there. Hey, all right. For that is the last time. We will probably look at the directions. We'll keep them off to the side here just in case. An eye on that. Thank you everybody for joining me, by the way, out there. Hopefully you're going to enjoy this this build. It should be pretty interesting. I'm going to try some kind of challenging things on this one, so we'll see what we can accomplish. So here's the basics of what I have in mind. Let me just grab a toothpick here. We'll use it as a pointer. Okay, so here's our Skorpekh Lord, and as we already went through at the beginning of the video, I'm going to put 3 batteries into each of these 3 areas, and we'll probably run the wires up through there. But I'm saying probably because there's an alternative where I bring all the wires for everything up through one leg. Why? So I only have to drill out one leg. Right? So like, how am I going to do this? So I'm already decided that, from a wiring perspective, I thought this leg or this leg had the best possibilities. This one, because it has this whole base area that you can kind of get into, and then it starts off a little thicker. You can see, let me bring this light forward now. Yeah, there you go. So you can see right here where it's kind of a little bit thicker, and I think if you just, maybe I could run the wire up the side and then bring the drill bit kind of in through here, and then afterwards I can put a little green stuff and block that off, or even just glue up a pile of rubble that seems to fit there. If we look at the gravel basing I'm going to typically do on these guys. Actually, I take that back, because the rest of my Necrons actually have a crackle kind of a base, so from that perspective, maybe I plan on doing some green stuff there. So anyway, so then the wire starts off and it can run straight up through here, and then basically what I see doing is just drilling straight out through the top and then bringing it back and drilling again right through here. So you see, so I can drill like this, and then basically with this all open, as the wire comes in, we'll run it this way through the leg, and once again we'll come out. I'll have to put another hole through here, and that'll get us up, into this body cavity. Okay, so now we've got our wires, or that's, considering how we're going to get the wires through there. Oh, look at that. We got that on camera. Got to take care of these things when you notice them. Let's see a little mold line. That guy. Like, what? Man, that's a tough to get spot. No wonder I didn't take care of our preferred knife. Tough angle. It would have been much better to have deburred, cleaned up that piece before he was assembled. But we'll maybe get in there with our special handy dandy ceramic burring tool. Oh yeah, there we go. Perfect. That's why it's nice to have all the different tools handy. Oh, look at that. Got that right out of there. As well take care of the other side while I'm at it. I missed those during the build of this guy. And since he's likely to get painted, I don't know if I'll need 2 Skorpekh Lords. And considering that one of them's about to be lit, I imagine he's the one that's going to see the most table time. Anyways. But when I get to painting them, I'll probably paint them both at the same time. It's sometimes easier to batch stuff. Okay. Anyways, enough with that. So, as we run the wire up into the body, then there's all kinds of room, right? And that's where I'm kind of why I chose this guy. He's got these cables already, so I think we just run our wires, not replacing either of those, though that might be neat to actually literally replace that wire and then run it through that same socket. I'll be honest with you, that's doable, right? So we could clip this outer wire off and then run the actual LED and drill it through there. But man, I'm literally not intending to put like that kind of quote master level work into this exact guy. So I'm just going to go with running the wire like around the exterior here, and it's going to come up and just punch through the side. And really, I just need to get one LED into the base area right here. Come on, you can focus. Take it real close. Like, come on, camera. You can do it. You can do it. Anyways, so I just need to get one LED into this base area. And once it's glowing there, then these fiber optics are pretty easy to get to go through. So I think that's basically how we're going to take care of that. And as far as the weapon goes, it might be neat to get something in there, but I think I'm actually going to skip lighting the weapon in the melee weapon in favor of doing something with the shooting weapon. And then over here, okay, I was thinking what might be cool is a sparking effect. So I'm going to have at least one flicker light, but I've got a kind of like a bluish white LED. I'll show you in a minute. I think that might be neat here, and have it come out into the palm, and so it'll basically be like flickering, glowing inside of those. And if we paint these like with a silver metallic paint, it'll really catch that flickering light. So I think that's neat. And then there's the opportunity to have the LED also showing through probably a drop of hot melt glue to make a little divot there. So I think that's neat. Now he's got these two round things on his shoulder, which are tempting to light, but if you look at under the pauldrons, it's open. So I'm not, that's kind of on that. But we will bring one light up through the head, and I'm gonna, hollow out from the back of the head to get the eyes out of there. So he's gonna have a red glow coming through the eyes. And then if you look at the ribs here, hey, what's up, man? Thanks for coming. Anyway, so we got these ribs. See those? There we are. So I'm gonna hollow those out from the back to create basically an open rib space, and I'm gonna put some like pulsing lights in there. So we're gonna create like a heartbeat effect. So really those are the LED effects that I visualize in this guy. I visualize a solid light maybe, or pulsing maybe. Haven't decided, but probably solid light coming up into the gun with a little bit of a fiber optic and kind of a glow effect going on down here. We're going to light his eyes, and basically the back of his face and head will have, pulsing Necron light coming through. Might go solid there. In fact, here's kind of thinking like solid with these two. So that's on one battery. A pulsing battery or light inside of here on a second battery. So that creates his heartbeat. And then a flickering over here on this weapon. And then at that point, I think he's well lit enough. But there's that opportunity, of course, because that's, one LED on one battery, one LED on another battery, and then two LEDs on the third battery to maybe add a second flickering effect and a second pulsing effect. So the second flickering effect, I might just actually end up with two colors, when that might be really neat to do two colors of flickering. And if the flickers sync up with each other, then it will be less cool. But if the flickers stay out of sync, then you could create kind of a neat sparking effect over here, I think, with like red, orange, and blue, white. So they love that. So we'll see if we can get that to come off. Same with the pulsing in here. It might be neat to do a pulsing light on each side. So rather than just kind of glowing from one side, have his whole inner chest cavity kind of glowing, and then the solid here. And that puts us with two LEDs on each battery, which is a nice balance. So I think that's basically what we're going to end up doing on this guy. So some pretty challenging drilling and stuff, but the first things first, of course, this is our Prelude episode. We're just going to come in and start cleaning up the sprues, and in particular, the mold lines there on that Same one we just had to clean up a minute ago on the actual finished guy. That sprue eye off there. And when I'm cleaning these sprue eyes up, I just try to like shave, kind of have the edge of the knife down, but it's fairly parallel to the surface. And I've just kind of shaved everything that's off. And I come in from the other side, do a little bit of the same, just trying to catch any raised bits. There, a nice little thing. And then scrape. Okay, looks pretty good. And, oh, there we go. Back of the calf, top of the calf. I don't know, how do you do that when you got two knees, or a knee and an ankle? All right, anthropomorphizing. Kind of like a weird retrograde leg. They're more crab-like, I think, is the they're going for there. As far as these go, let's see. Mold line. Yeah, so I'm pretty excited to get into this project overall. One, because I see it as a gateway, right? It's going to be, again, it's going to be my second project working with these Evan Designs LEDs, so I'm kind of happy with the results so far. It'll be my second project, and then getting through this guy, like I haven't done any LEDs in a while, and I was getting a little burnt out on model. Not a lot of challenge to it. So here I'm getting, built the outriders, put the lights in. I'm pretty happy with the result. And so now I'm kind of excited to go back in and just build up some different LED models. And then with the Necrons, I think it's a really nice, an army that lends itself to being lit very well. You'll find this funny. My bikes, that are lit, my bike army, not the ones I just built, but my actual previous Ultramarine bike army. It's 3 lit bike squads and characters. A bunch of those bikes, the LEDs, the headlights are blue, but other ones they're actually purple, UV. And so I'd play against friends who have Necrons, and the old Necrons with the plastic bits for the guns would really glow. Yeah, it was cool. So that was like one of those armies that anytime I played against Necrons, you get these really cool effects on the table as the purple UV LEDs in my bike started shining all over the UV reactive plastics and stuff that were in there, plus some green paint and other stuff people might have. So always really cool. So I, of course, basically just bought a painted Necron army over the summer, and when the 9th edition first came out, in anticipation of a new book, and kind of wanted to try a new army for the season and the edition here. And in doing so, I, of course, acquired a whole bunch of the old warriors and all of that stuff with, you guessed it, the actual little plastic inserts in all the weapons. And so part of what I want to get going with these guys is some purple LEDs. Like, I think it would be cool if I had some nice purples and blues in the parts of the Necron army that I light up, that basically cast lights or created glowing opportunities in the rest of the army. And it's the thing that most people don't know. Well, I guess some people know. My Tau army, which I think the only thing I lit, there's only a couple things I lit in the Tau army. One of them is, of course, the Storm Surge, which put a bunch of lights in. And the other thing that I lit were my transports. And the entire rest of that Tau army, though they don't have lights, I actually clear coated them in a transparent UV reactive paint. And then there's also like hidden sort of UV paint things. I did real light where you can't really see it with the naked eye. It exists, but it's there. So like some of the glow effects have orange UV paint mixed in with the paints that I was using for the glow effect. So when you hit them with a black light, my Tau army actually glows like a blue color, and then a bunch of the weapons and stuff like that glow orange and some other colors. Like, so it's pretty neat effect. The thing is, it's how often do you play in the dark in a black light? So you You really never see that on my Tau army. It's just one of those kind of hidden neat things. But on all the vehicles or the transports that I put lights in, basically what I did was I took the transport and I put UV LEDs all the way around the outside. I think each one has like 12 or 16 UV LEDs pointed outward, kind of outward and down. And the idea was that, if I played with my Devilfish for the Tau army, they'd be emitting these little UV zones around them. And so as I move like my Fire Warriors out, you'd catch a little bit of a glow, or as they got near other units, you might catch a little bit of a glow, especially in a game store that didn't have as good a lighting or is a little bit dimmer as some of them can be. Usually when we're in an actual game hall, like they have those big sodium lamps, so it's like there you would ever see something like that. But again, it was fun, just kind of a cool thing to do. So with these Necrons, like I said, I want to integrate some UV LEDs, and in particular, like the Silent King, I want him to really be sort of a UV emitter. Maybe the little bodyguard menhirs or whatever those things are that hang out with him, giving out some UV, and then it's going to catch all the UV reactive plastic in the rest of my old school Necron army, and that should be pretty cool. Basically, kind of a glow effect. Again, we'll see if it's well, this time I know it's actually visible because I used to play at least at Game Castle Santa Clara a lot with that lit army, and I play against people with Necrons, pretty frequently, and it always had cool reactive lights when we're playing. It's actually one of the more fun armies to play against were people with Necrons, just because of that. Plus, in that like early sixth edition era, I would say, before we got all crazy like it was in 7th edition. It was a pretty good matchup between a Space Marine bike army and the Necrons. At least the people I was playing with were typically experienced Necron players, and so it was good. Good times, man. Like the olden days. Too bad. So yeah, this guy's a pretty easy model to clean up too. So got about 30 minutes left here in this session. We'll easily finish cleaning up the sprue then, and I'm going to break out the LEDs. I'm going to start playing with some of the lights that I have planned for this project, and a little preview of some of the stuff that I'm going to get going with Silent King. So I'll probably do an unboxing video when I receive that guy. See when it. I ordered it from Frontline Gaming, and today I already got my UPS notification from them. So that's a pretty darn quick. So I'm hoping to be able to maybe this weekend or maybe next week, probably arrive next week, to go ahead and do like an unboxing video of the Silent King. And at that time, it'll be my first look at the sprues. But remember, I'll be looking at it for the first time really with the perspective of planning a lighting project. So I have no idea what to expect as far as the lightability or what I can do with that model. But there's some neat stuff that I've done in the past. One of the things I haven't done for a while, but I still have the capabilities to do, is to scan basically any component and then have it 3D printed in a clear or translucent resin. So if you remember a couple years ago, I helped Mr. Paul McKelvey with his Tau Manta, Tau Manta project, and we took the pilot, the aircast pilot, and scanned him, or was it an ethereal commander? I forget what it was. But anyways, we scanned him in, printed him in 3D, and then turned him into like a hologram. And then we did the same thing with the engines. We scanned the engine resin bits, printed them in 3D. That way we were able to put lights behind them and create some pretty cool glowing engine effects. That was a pretty neat model to work on. I tell you what, I got to work at least on the scanning and 3D printing of those replacement bits, and then I did the straightening of all the resin too, and then of course Israel did the actual build and paint. All of us worked a little bit on drilling the channels out. Pretty fun stuff. That was a cool project. Anyway, so that said, going through the Silent King and looking at the Necrons, I might take the opportunity to do that. I'm fortunate in so much as at my work, at least for now, we'll see how long I have it. I do have a really nice 3D scanner, and when I say nice, I mean um, professional, top quality in the world from Zeiss. I run a Zeiss lab, and so able to do micron, which is 40 millionths of an inch, micron level scanning and digitizing. So get some pretty fine details. I was really surprised, in fact, on that Tau Pilot, how clear like the face and stuff like that comes out. And here's where I slash my finger off. And I already got really good size. I got a big old gouge out of my two fingers there. See that? Yikes! There. And my thumb. Yeah, I was cleaning my rifle before going to the range this weekend, and one of the covers, I slid my finger along it. I've had this gun for a while, and I never had a problem. And it sliced my finger open. And sure enough, as I looked at it at the factory, they had machined the edge of this cover, and the direction of the cutter spinning threw the burr outwards, and of course they didn't deburr it. So I quickly used my knife, cleaned it up, and no more problems with that. But I was like, man, if they had only spun the cutters in the other direction, the burr would have went inside, and then nobody would have been cutting themselves. Or they could have gone back on a second op, brought the tool around, and cleaned it up. So on the other hand, GW nowadays does just a brilliant job of designing their models. It's amazing to me how little cleanup I really have to do on some of these modern models. I work on one of the older casts, and they can be a nightmare to clean up. And I think that's what's happened is a lot of people worked on some of the wrong models at the wrong time in their life, and they're like, oh my gosh, never again. Not realizing that most of these modern models, you can almost get away without cleaning them up, but really even a minimal cleanup makes a huge improvement. Of course, I myself am not generally going for perfection. I am just shooting for a tabletop quality with these things. I might put a little more effort into the Silent King, though, because that's a pretty capital piece. I want him to look ultra baller. Okay, so this piece has a few sprue eyes, but it's also pretty detailed. Get some nice cleanup in there. Again, I'm using my super dull knife, which is always perfect for this. One, it's a little more forgiving when you jam it into your finger. And when you're cleaning up plastics, any plastic deburring or cutting, you don't always want the sharpest. So a little bit of a dull tool can give you a better result. Okay. That'll do. And one more piece. No, three more pieces. Almost done. We'll check out some cool LEDs. Sprue eye off there. Oh, man, the tips of these claws are sharp. I can feel it wanting to go into my finger. Have you ever done that? Worked on one of these GW, some chaos spikiness is where I've always done it. Or you just like accidentally literally jam yourself or cut yourself on a model. I've had ones with sharp edges that have both poked me and sliced me. That's pretty amazing when that happens. Like, what? I gave my blood for this model. Okay, so there we go. Yeah. All right, so, one more sprue eye. One more sprue eye. There's always one more, right? Funny, it's not the 100 sprue eyes you remove, it's the one you forgot that everyone will see. Okay, it's pretty good. And last couple bits, pretty easy cleanup. Yeah, let's get that out of there. Boom. And boom. No, I do not offer model cleanup services. I assure you, this is not my favorite task. It's just that one of those things that I feel needs to be done as part of model building. There's my early model building days of cars, followed by World War II airplanes. I super got into 1/48th scale World War II aircraft, and I built, pretty sure I built every major fighter and light bomber. And a few of the bombers, like I did build a B-17, B-25, P-38, two of the bigger craft like that, as well as all the P-40, P-51, Hellcats, all the different fighters, Zero, German fighters, Messerschmitts, Me-109. Yeah, a lot of stuff. Junkers 88, Stuka. Yeah, a lot of stuff. Okay, there we go. So got that head clean. So that's it. Boom. That was not too terribly bad. Just go ahead and get that plastic out of the way real quick. Scoop it together. Have one of those little vacuumy things, right? That's what they're for, like a keyboard vac. There we go. Okay, and that deserves a little something. In fact, that deserves the rest of that something. Delicious. Okay, so we can set those sprues and instructions to the side. There. And let's take a look at some lights. And I grabbed a couple batteries too. So, first off, the Necrons have a whole bunch of little spheres in the models. So, I actually went online and I typed in, crystal spheres. And I think I was looking for beads. And turns out that little crystal beads, little crystal spheres, quartz spheres specifically, are a super popular item. Apparently, people who are doing some dabbing like to put the crystal ball into their dab rig, and I'm not sure why, and I chose not to bother to search out why. So, but what I did get was a whole bunch of these different spheres. Now these ones, let's see, get those light real quick. Then see that? Yeah, look at that. Glow in the dark. So I'm thinking when you hit that with some LEDs, of course, or even a purple UV reactive maybe LED, that could have a pretty cool effect. This back, get the glare away, or at least less glare. Okay, so those ones, pretty cool. I've got these glow spheres, okay, and then I've got some larger, just straight quartz balls, and then some red quartz balls. I assume they're just quartz glass, right? It's not like some mineral polish. It would have a different look to it. And then these ones, again, I thought they were just randomly interesting. And can you see? They got some little bits in there. Let's see. Give them a quick shine under the light here. We'll turn the light off. Haha, can you see that? Yeah, right? Is that cool or what? They got these little, like, glow specks inside of them. So, anyways, what's that on my hand? Oh, that's paint. Never fear. I was like, oh, wait a second. What's going on with my hand here? Oh my gosh, I've got a rash. I got the rosy palms, man. I got the rosy palms. Hey, none of that. I said it first. I beat you to it. Anyways. Yeah, so anyways, I figured those will have a cool effect when we hit them with some lights as well. Okay, so So then, a few things. I was just, again, doing my online looking, and I saw this wax. I know you're like, John, wax, really? But no, it's like a modeling wax. And so it's good for literally just tacking things in place, specifically like holding an LED in place for a minute or permanently. So this stuff is basically supposed to be able to hold LEDs permanently. We're going to give it a try on some internal stuff. We'll see. Worst that happens is some wax drizzles out of my model on a hot day, and it looks like grease. So I'm not too worried about that. So we got the wax going on. And let's see. We first off have these size Z green lights. So go ahead and take a quick look at what those look like. They're all set up for a 3-volt power supply. Okay, and that's what all that warning is there. So we got the nice thing from Evans. They got them already, the bottom of the wire stripped. So let me just touch that to my coin cell. And there we go. So now you see that's a nice focus. A nice little green LED is a lot of light being put out there. And of course, let me see how that looks. That's what the whole point is stick that on these. Hold that. Come on, don't roll away. It'll stop eventually, right? That little sphere there. And boom, we're going to hit it with that light. See that? Do that in my hand. It's going to be really challenging, but we'll see if we can do it. See that? When I hit the LED on the sphere, the whole sphere just lights up and glows. It basically just turns into... Oh, interesting. So, of course, as I do that, I see that there is almost like a foggy equator. I suspect that these were cast, and that's the seam of the mold that actually made them. I can actually see that on the camera, too. You see that moving back and forth? So it's the seam of the mold that actually made these, and of course then they're polished, probably tumbled with a fine polish, maybe a 2 or 3 stage tumble to get them to that point, even a hand buff to clean up that seam before they come out of there. So very interesting, interesting. But anyways, nice little glow effect we get off of those quartz spheres. Now let's see how that looks as we pin it to one of these sparkly glow spheres. These ones are kind of neat. A little bit smaller, too, if you look at the size. These ones I envision actually more of the flicker effect behind them. Let's go ahead and get that. Oh, there we go. Look at that. Look at that. Is that baller or what? Boom. You see the little bits going on in there? If I go sideways, pretty gnarly. Pretty cool. See that? Anyway, so I think like this is going to create some pretty neat effects for us. Now, red, I assume I'm going to have to put a white or even a blue into the red to create more of a purple effect, maybe? Yeah, because green, not super... I mean, it gets the red glowing, but you see that weird green spot? It literally causes a weird green spot. Put that away. And then we've got these glow spheres, which I'm hoping that basically they're more of a translucent, and that translucent is what really picks up the light. So kind of come in here, and oh, wow. Yeah, that's cool. Okay, so let's see if we can get that to where you can see that on the camera. A little hard, because that, one of the things is that LEDs have a tendency, come on, you can focus. There we go. Have this tendency to wash out digital cameras. And so I don't think you're going to see that. I mean, obviously, look at the glow. Like, okay, right there. Boom. If I pull it away a little, you see as I move it, entire glow sphere is actually filled with like little bubbles of that glow material. So it's basically like this other one, it just has a whole lot more of it. And they're just little speckles of glow. So if you see here, it's, man, I wish I could get the camera to see that better. In person, it looks amazing. So that's one of the downsides. It's like LEDs, and you'll see it on the internet. People become. It has become popular for people to add LEDs to models. So certainly that's what to be expected, especially with Power Play having kind of blazed the trail of getting hobby kits into the 40K world. And there's now multiple companies doing that, especially like I said, Evan Designs that I've been working. It's not like I work them. I don't know them. I've never even emailed them. I just order stuff from their website, normal customer, and do cool stuff with it. So, but what I'm seeing here, though, as I look at this in person, is that as I hit that light on there, this has almost like a creamy, kind of a green glow, and then this one just kind of pops with little like sparkly bits of light. That's going to be pretty cool when we get that going on. So that is the solid green light. So just put that back, and you see I got a bunch of those. Now I'm picturing the solid green lights, not so much behind spheres, maybe one or two here and there, depending, but definitely for things like eyes. So the eyes of our Skorpekh Lord and the fiber optics in the gun. So, right, if you remember, we're going to light his eyes. You can focus. So, we're going to light his eyes up, and then we're also going to light his gun. There we go. I think I like this. Like when the camera gets the focus in, it is great. The reaction time on the focus here. I'm going to play, I think, with the settings on this camera. See if there's like some setting that allows it to achieve a better focus for something. Seems to be a pretty good distance here. Maybe it's just, see, look at that. Now I'm 4 inches away and no problem. And then we bring that in and now we can see it no problem. So anyway, so we're going to light up that gun and the eyes with that solid effect there. And then let's see what we got here. This is a Pico orange LED. So this is just going to be an orange color. Not sure what I'm going to do with those. Maybe going to use that to complement with a fire effect. Those are the oranges that I used for the... it's the same color orange I used for the guns in the bikes, except, of course, on the bikes I used a flashing one. Now, here is a red light, and this is another Pico LED. I just got a couple of these. I wasn't real sure what I wanted to do with a red, but let's go ahead and light that up. And like, oh yeah, let's get a red glowing sphere. Yeah. Oh, this is a flickering red. Okay, yeah, sorry. So the flickering red, I was picturing, can you see that it's flickering? Yeah, you can make that out, right? See the pulse on it? Pretty cool, huh? Yeah, that's pretty cool. So anyway, so this is actually a flickering red. So this is what I actually picture perhaps driving that red sphere. So let's see if we can hold that in place. That glow in there. Nah, the red sphere not picking up a great glow. That's not bad. Okay, so what I do envision though is I do have the like a blue-white flickering, and then this flickering, and I could see, both of those. Turn down this light a little. So I could see both of those basically going inside of the hands. Then you have like this red, blue kind of flickering energy going on over here. And of course, red and green always play well together. And you see how you're getting that nice kind of reflection on the chest. Then where the chest will be pulsing green. So when it goes to its darkest point, then you'll see the red flicker over there. I think that has some potential for us. So I think that's going to be pretty cool. Like I said, I think we can get 2 flickering effects into that fist. Let's get these lights in. I did buy a variety. It's one of these things where I found, you know, once I kind of got the measure of the Evans LEDs, I wanted to have just a library. It helps with being creative. You know, if you got a creative mood and you want to do something and it's like, oh, okay, boom, I've got a whole bucket. I have so many different LEDs that I just randomly buy and different stuff. And it lets me just do just that, randomly buy stuff. So here is the flickering blue. Okay, so now let's try. Oh, I've got 5 minutes left, 6 minutes left. We can do this, right? We can do this. Yeah. So we're gonna bring this out. Okay, so we got a flickering blue, and where did I put that? Flashing purple. Oh, I just had it. There it is. Flickering red. Okay, so we'll get the flickering red and the flickering blue together. Let's see what happens. So I'm, again, somewhat curious as to whether they will sync up or not with the flickering. I'm hoping they don't, as that will create a better effect for me. Okay, so there we go. We've got both. Now let's see. They're definitely not flickering in sync with each other. That's a good sign. We put them real close. So yeah, so in like the Skorpekh Destroyer's Claw, see like this blue, and I like it the blue is dominant. We still get the red. We'll have the red go to the inside. Creates a really nice effect. Look at that. Yeah. I like that. I think that's gonna come out nice. Okay, cool. So we've got that. This is the blue. Get that one back into its blue. I mean, it doesn't matter if you like get them all mixed up because you just got to apply power and you see what it is. But it is also keeps them protected. That's the only thing with these little nano LEDs is I don't think they're going to be the most durable. I think that the full jacketed plastic LEDs like we're used to working with, those will last for years. And we know those will last for years. Oops. Did I? Ah, there it is. Whew. I worried for a second. You guys probably saw it on the camera before I did. Okay, we'll get that put away as well. Okay, so that's the flickering effect. That's how we're going to do the claw. And then, let's see. This is the pink or purple. This is a solid purple. And what's this one? This is the flashing green. And this is a, I'm not sure if it's normal flash. This is that orange again. Let's see, this one is flickering green. And this one is the orange. There we go. Okay, and this one is the synced LEDs. So I have 2 synced green that do breathing. So check this out. This is what I got for the heart and chest effect. Oops, backwards. There we go. So we've got this. weird flashing. It's like it's coughing. You see that? It does pulse. Pulse. That's cool. Okay, so those are going to be the lights inside of his chest. Right, so we're going to create that glowing effect in the chest. And then we're going to have the solid green lights in the weapon and his eyes. And then we're going to have the red and blue flickering in the power claw. And let's see, sync. So I think that's the way to go with this guy. So looks like we're down to less than a minute. Just enough time for me to not lose all this stuff. Right, put that there. Yep, see, look at them. They're already rolling away. Already rolling away. Got to keep this stuff under control. Whoa. Oh, no. Okay. Do not move. We'll catch that as soon as the show's over. And let's get the rest of them put away before they go shooting across the room as well. I have a feeling there's going to be a few more moments of that. So as we wind down the last few seconds, we'll switch back to the old face cam. Everybody, thank you very much for joining me for this hour of hobby tonight. I hope you guys had a good time. I know I had a good time. And I hope you will join me in the coming weeks as we work on that Skorpekh Lord. Everybody, peace out. Good night. We'll see you next Wednesday at 8 o'clock.